Hello everyone and welcome to Sinful Gaming. I hope you're all doing well, I hope you're all staying safe, and most of all, I hope you're all fighting that war against the grey. Today's video, we're going to talk start collecting Warhammer, the Horus Heresy, Age of Darkness. And today, we're going to take a look at the Age of Darkness starter set and how we can use it to start a Horus Heresy army. We're going to go through all the contents of the box and talk a little bit about all the units that come inside this box before having a look at some other models we can use to bring into our army to expand upon this initial box set before finally finishing off with not one, but 3 sample army lists. Now, the sample army list we're going to do at the end of the video in this. First of all, we're going to do 2 army list videos focusing on either half of the box, split slightly different to what they suggest on here, so that both players, I think, get interesting models to build. I think there's a better way to split it for both legal armies straight out the box and for both people splitting the box to enjoy it more. But also, I'll show a sample army list of using the box in its entirety for one army as well, in case you've picked up this box by yourself. So with that all said, let's talk about what is inside this box set. And first of all, we get the 2 Praetor miniatures. Now, the 2 Praetors, these are pretty much your Space Marine captains of the Horus Heresy. You have one of them equipped with a Power Axe, one equipped with Power Sword, and they've both got a couple of different shooting weapon options there as well. Now, these can be upgraded in a variety of different ways, and they can take a few different upgrades, but essentially they are, your basic sort of squad leaders, or rather army leaders for your army. Now, alongside them, we get 40 Tactical Marines as well. These are the stock standard troop of the Space Marine Legions, as they are in, previous Warhammer 40k editions. Now, the Tactical Marine squad is really interesting because while they only come with the Tactical Marine options inside this box set, you actually have the options available to you with some additional bits later on to convert these to either heavy weapon or tactical support squads, which tot out special weapons like flamers, plasma guns, etc. And obviously the heavy weapons can have heavy bolters, missile launchers, and more as well. Now, they are really useful. They can come in quite decent numbers. You can actually take tactical squads of up to 20 Marines in Warhammer 30k, which is really cool. We then get 10 Cataphracti Terminators, and this is where I think splitting this unit up into 2 units of 5 and giving each player 5 options of Marines in this is probably the best way to split the box. You want to have a Praetor either side, 20 Tactical Marines either side, 5 Cataphracti, and then split the Contemptor and the Spartan Assault Tank, I think. While they're not equal in points value, I think that is a much more interesting split of the box set for players to enjoy. Now, the Cataphracti Terminators, as you might expect, they are Terminators. They can take a variety of different close combat weapons. They can take some ranged weapons as well as a bunch of things like different combi weapons and stuff. They're actually quite a versatile squad to build, and you can have a really interesting sort of loadout on them. Now, as well as that, we get a Contemptor Dreadnought. Contemptor Dreadnought is the old school style Dreadnought and very much more looks like the Redemptor than it does the actual box Dreadnought we're more used to. Contemptor Dreadnoughts have a variety of different weapon options they can take. They can actually take 2 close combat weapons, and they can take 2 ranged weapons if they want. They can also have a Carapace mounted weapon as well in the form of the Havoc Launcher and some other things as well. Lastly, we have the Spartan Assault Tank, or the Land Raider Spartan. This is a transport unit for your Space Marines, great at transporting around your Terminators in the army, or indeed maybe some tactical support squads or other options. It can have a variety of different weapon options on its pintle-mounted and hull-mounted weapons. It can have a couple of different options between the las cannons and the laser destroyers on its sponsor-mounted weapons as well. Great for transporting your combat troops around the battlefield. Now, with that all said, let's take a look at some of the other unit options we can have a look at in the Horus Heresy to expand upon this initial box set. And so, looking at, now I did talk about in the previous slide briefly that your tactical squad can have some upgraded weapons. And the first one of these kits I want to talk about is the Special Weapon Upgrade Kit. This can be used to turn your tactical squads into tactical support squads. Now, the Special Weapon Kit here contains 60 different guns in there, enough for 6 different loadouts of 10 models. So you can have either Flamers, Melter Guns, Plasma Guns, Rotor Cannons, Volkite Calvers, and Volkite Chargers in this box set. All of these provide some different weapon options. Rotor Cannons are really good anti-infantry weapons, especially against lighter infantry. Once we see things like Guard and that come into Warhammer 30k, they will be really good against them. But also some other cool weapons in there, ones you're more familiar with in Warhammer, like your Plasma Guns, Melter Guns, and Flamers, all really nice options. And your Volkite weapons are in there as well. We then have the heavy weapon upgrade set as well, which contains missile launchers and heavy bolters available. Enough of 10 weapons of either variation to upgrade your box set as needed. Now, we also have the options as well here for Demas Pattern Rhinos as well, which is really cool. They're a nice transport option for your Space Marine vehicles. Demas Pattern Rhinos, they're going to be able to transport your tactical squads around the battlefield, much the same as Rhinos do in Warhammer 40k. Just a nice option to get some speed. I particularly like them with like tactical support squads that are totting stuff like flamers that really need to get that extra speed to get into the right sort of positions. Really solid with your tactical support squads in there, I think, in your Demas Pattern Rhinos. And then lastly, we have the Kratos Heavy Assault Tank. This is a massive, super heavy vehicle for the Space Marines. A giant of a tank. Puts out a tremendous amount of damaging firepower. Has its cool, you can see its giant main turret with the supporting cannon there as well. And then you've got the two top-mounted hull sponsors as long as the side-mounted sponsors on it as well. And that giant dozer blade at the front, ready to crush everything in its way. Just an absolute beast of a Space Marine vehicle. So with this all said, let's take a look at, first of all, the box split army lists I've got. They'll both be at 1,000 points for you to use as some inspiration for creating and building up those starting forces if you're splitting this with a friend. And so here we have our first sample army list for you. Now this is splitting the half that will include the Land Red Spartan, or rather on the box this is at least the Imperial Fist split of the box set. Now you've got your Praetor in there with his Power Sword and Mastercrafted Volkite Charger. We're then going to have two squads of 10 Tactical Marines, or one of them will have a bunch of bayonets equipped to the weapons, and then they're both going to have the Nuncio Vox, Legion Vexilla and Augury Scanners all put on the units. I think these are just solid upgrades to put on your units for now. Cool to build them, learn what those rules do, and they'll serve you later really, really well. Especially things like the Nuncio Vox, which can help to sort of direct some of your indirect firepower and teleporters, and the Legion Vexilla is really good for breaking combats that aren't going in your favour. You then have Elite 5 Cataphractic Terminators. Now we've just gone for a Heavy Flamer on the rest of the squad, so they're all going to have Power Swords. We've also got a Power Fist on the Sergeant and his Grenade Harness there for a little bit of extra punch in the unit in case we come up against a tank needing that Sergeant to, you know, punch through with his Power Fist. And then lastly, the Land Raider Spartan in heavy support with a hull-mounted twin-linked Heavy Flamer and pintle-mounted multi-melter sticking out. This will be 997 points, so pretty close to that perfect 1,000. You've got two troops, you've got your HQ in there, and you've got elites and a nice heavy support to transport. Your Terminators are probably going in there rather than being any sort of teleporting unit. You can play around with what you want to do. You could definitely try and fit in a tactical support squad if you go with some cheaper weapon options on the Land Raider Spartan there. Or you can indeed upgrade your Cataphractic Terminators. Once again, you know, take off your Nuncio Vox and Legion Vexillas, or maybe not use them in your first sort of army list, and you can upgrade those Terminators a little bit more. And so here we have our second sample army list. Now this is focusing on the Sons of Horus side of the box set. Now, as mentioned, we've got our other Praetor in here. He's got an Archaeotech pistol, a power axe instead, and we've decided to mastercraft that power axe as well. For troops, now this is where we're needing to add something extra to the box to really balance out those points nicely. We've gone for one tactical squad here with the Sergeant with a chainsword and plasma pistol, but then 9 tactical Marines with chain bayonets, all the Nuncio Vox, Legion Vexilla and Augury Scanners as well. But the other unit we've upgraded to tactical support Marines to have Volkite Cavaliers. Now, with this one here, I would strongly suggest splitting the cost of this box set with your big purchase with whoever you are splitting this with. I think this makes it much more even with the split. Unless, of course, if one of you's taking the rulebooks and stuff like that from the game, I'd just tell the other person to go buy this if, you know... So if the Sons of Horus player here is getting the rulebook and all that, I think they buy their tactical support weapons. If you're sharing the book or whatever, then I think, you know, it's right to split this cost of this on top of your box set as well. Now, other than that, you could definitely swap out those support weapons there for anyone you really want. You're going to have a few extra points if you go for something cheaper. And then we've got elites. We've got 5 Cataphractii Terminators here with a Power Fist and Grenade Harness on the Sergeant. And then we've also got the Reaper Autocannon and 2 Chain Fists in the unit as well. We then have a Contemptor Dreadnought Talon focusing on the 1 Dreadnought with an Autocannon, Power Fist and the Carapace mounted Havoc Launcher as well. For 998 points. This is another fun little Sons of Horus, or rather 30k Marine. You could easily make this any Legion you want. This works in any Legion, same with the previous list. But now I want to take a minute. We're going to look at a 2,000 point army list using all of the contents in the box set at once as well, just in case you've got this box set and you built it up by yourself. And here, finally, we have a no-split army list. Now, this is going to be 2,000 points, which is pretty cool. If you bought this box set by yourself and you're going to play it by yourself, you have 2,000 points pretty much straight out of the box. We've thrown in a tactical support squad on here, so you just need the special weapons upgrade sprue, and this will get you an easy 2,000 points. You've got your 2 Praetors in here, both built up with the same loadouts we've had in the videos previous. We then have 30 tactical marines, 1 squad of 10, 1 squad of 20. All of them are going to have chain bayonets in this build. We then got power swords and plasma pistols on the sergeants there. We then have a tactical support squad with rotor cannons. Now, we are a few points light to get any of the more expensive weapons, though. You could easily drop, say, a couple of chain fists out the Cataphractii Terminators next and drop those power swords down to like chain swords, and you're probably there around about. Now, those Cataphractii Terminators, speaking of, we've got 4 Chain Fists, Power Fists on the Sergeant, and we've got the Heavy Flamer and Reaper Autocannon in there for a bit of a dual purpose for the units. We then have the Contemptor with the Autocannon, Power Fist, and the Carapace mounted Havoc Launcher on as well. And finally, a Land Raider Spartan Hull mounted Twin Link Heavy Flamer, Pintle mounted Multi-Melter, and then all the upgrades, the Searchlight, Hunter Killer Missile, and Flare Shield on that model are there nicely to keep it nice and protected. This is a solid 2,000 point army. You've got a decent amount of models on the table. This is great that, this box set, yes, it's $475 AU, but it does give you a 2,000 point army list right out the get-go. You need to buy very little on top of this box to actually expand out of those armies, which I think is great. Like I said, the only thing on top of this box set you need to have either 2 1,000 point armies or a 2k army is that special weapon upgrade spruce for 10 of your tactical marines. And you can easily go with heavy marines, so heavy support marines if you want to get some missile launchers or heavy bolters in your army as well, if that's another option. But if you've played some 30k, you've built up your armies, let us know what you've done with your first 1,000 points. If you split the box, how did you and your friends split it? If you've built it up yourself, what have been your first purchases? I'd love to hear from everyone down in the comments below. That's the end of the video, everyone. Thank you all for watching. We hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Also, drop us a comment down below in the comments section and let us know what you enjoyed about the video and what you'd like to see more of on the channel. If you'd like to come chat more with me and other members of our little community here we have at Sinful Gaming, you can do so on our Discord server, which is linked in the video's description. Also linked in the video's description is our Patreon and YouTube members, where you can go to help support the channel and allow us to keep doing what we're doing. As a special thank you to our Patreons and YouTube members, we'd like to give them all a shout out. So thank you to our Patreons: Christian Weir, Soren, Greenskins Gaming, Kenny Lauer, Outer and Shot First, Andrew Bowen, Nathan Fee, The Rising Ape, Q Dynamic, Anthony B, JJ Austrian, Average Wargamer, Domir, Mark Harvey, James Cater, Derek, and Giappy390, and to our YouTube members: Greenroots Gaming, Kenton Young, Ronya, Lock Lorick, The Johnny84, David Ellsworth, Wolfric Nick, Broken Chef, Ariana Edwards, Revenar, Pink Nico Fire, Robin Mankiller, and Monty's Tabletop Terrain. And lastly, a special thanks to Lady Witchfox Art, who does all the amazing artwork you see on the channel. Thank you all for watching. Once again, stay safe, stay well, and most of all, keep fighting that war against the Grey. Ciao for now, everyone.